We live in a time of remakes, remasters, reboots. Some of them work out rather well, most do not. However, if I was in charge of a hypothetical Bully remake, remaster, what would I do to try to ensure that this remaster remake was the best and worthy of being a proper reboot remake of Bully, an original game from Rockstar that I've absolutely loved, and many of us have been wanting a sequel or prequel to for the longest time. There have been rumors that have circulated over the years, and at least one or two Bully 2s that have been canceled internally by Rockstar Games. And since remasters, remakes are all the rage in the gaming industry today, I thought that I would give it a crack at what I would do if I was in charge of a Bully remake remaster. Bear in mind, there's always the possibility that this is actually in the works. Hopefully it's not being done by Grove Street Games and it's actually being remade or remastered in-house at Rockstar Games. First thing I would do is I would not call it Bully Definitive Edition. I would go for something a little bit more cheeky like Bully Detention Edition. I think that would work rather well for either a remake or remaster to the original Bully game. I would have Bully rebuilt from the ground up on either Rage or Unreal Engine 5. Bear in mind, obviously, I'm not a developer. I'm just, I guess, the figurehead, the guy in charge. I have a bunch of hard-working people underneath me that know how to do all this stuff. So I just want to get that part out of the way because some people get critical of this series of mine. It's just a hypothetical if I was in charge from a gamer point of view, what improvements I would like to see in a game that I've already played. So, continuing regarding the upgrade to the engine, yeah, I know Bully and Bully Scholarship Edition were built on other engines, but I would like to put it on something a little bit crisper, a little bit newer. Once again, whether or not it's the most updated version of Rage, similar to the one that's used for Red Dead Redemption 2, or perhaps just go with Unreal Engine 5, I guess that would be up to the team and me to decide which one would work better. 60 FPS, performance RT, HD. Of course, you want the game to look as good graphically as possible and run as smoothly as possible, so we definitely want to do that. We'd also improve draw distance, the skybox, loading time between buildings as well as missions, classrooms. And I would also like to improve the lighting as well, especially at night when you're roaming around Bullworth and Bullworth Academy. Sometimes it gets a bit too dark in the game. I also want Bully Detention Edition to be faithful to the original game, including all content that was in Bully Scholarship Edition. We're going to do our best to keep the audio of the characters from the original voice actors, improve throwing, aiming, melee, stealth, the QTs, skateboarding, bicycling, and other vehicle mechanics in order to make them as good as possible. Yes, some of these are already pretty good for a game as old as Bully, but there could always be some slight tweaks and improvements that could be made when it comes to all these things, and that's what we'll go over, like what still's good, what needs to be improved upon, is there anything that needs to be like tweaked just a little bit, and which of these is just right. I would like to keep the music, the score from the original game, as well as the audio, sound effects. Now when it comes to the characters, you want them to look very, very similar to how you remember them from the original game. So I would keep Jimmy and all the others looking roughly the same as they were, but at the same time, the main characters, supporting characters, NPCs, would have design improvements graphically to go along with whatever engine we happen to put the remake on, whether it's Rage or Unreal Engine 5. I would also like to improve the UI as well as the menu and the map itself. That way it'd be a lot easier to use and it would function much better than the original version of the Bully menu UI. So that would be improved as well. And we would include improvements to the clothing section and the wardrobe, making it easier for you to access clothing items and add a weapon as well as an item wheel. That's quite popular in a lot of games these days. It would make it a lot easier to toggle between various weapons and items in your inventory. But for anyone that prefers toggling through the items, weapons the old-fashioned way, we would have an option in the menu for you to switch between the wheels as well as classic. After you complete Bully, I would add a new Game Plus mode that would allow you to start the game over with all the abilities, all the weapons, all the clothing that you got in your first playthrough, but you get all that at the beginning of your Bully Plus. But things are a little bit more challenging. We'd have to work our way through the game to come up with ideas and ways to make Bully Plus a bit more challenging. Maybe the NPCs are a bit more difficult, they're tougher, they're buffed a bit. But I think a new game plus or a Bully Plus would work rather well in Bully Detention Edition, plus replayability. Additionally, I would like to add a bit of customization as well as upgrades to Jimmy's dorm, as well as the safe houses he can acquire throughout the game. Yeah, you do have at the dorm room some things that happen as you play through the missions. You get photos of girlfriends, a few other things, but I'm going to add a bit more customization here where you can customize the bed, your wardrobe, desk, floor, rug, as well as perhaps even add mini games to dorm rooms, safe houses, display awards, trophies, accomplishments. I also would like to include an outfit preset option where you could have a certain number of preset outfits that you could put together so you could quickly toggle between like a school outfit or just a casual outfit or a fancy dress outfit. You get the idea. I would probably also add additional like save checkpoints for some of the mini games that you have to do in order to, for example, acquire safe houses and missions that are a bit more difficult. I would at least have some sort of like halfway checkpoint. That way you wouldn't have to start completely over. And perhaps mid checkpoints get removed in a Bully New Game Plus mode, adding to the difficulty of a second playthrough. Now, in conclusion, when it comes to the missions themselves, I realize that there are a few missions in Bully that would be considered to be inappropriate today, but after some careful thought, I think that it's important to keep those missions as is and not change them, perhaps make them optional, where if a player doesn't feel comfortable doing this mission or that mission, they have the ability to skip over the mission without having to do said tasks. But for the most part, I think that the game itself should be kept as is, the main story, the main characters, even if sometimes they happen to wear a controversial outfit during the Halloween part of Bully, that should remain in the game as well. So if I was in charge, that's pretty much my idea, my vision for how Bully Detention Edition would be remade, remastered, and hopefully it would turn out way better than the GTA Trilogy Defective Edition. When it comes to Bully, what would you prefer? A remake, remaster, done in-house by Rockstar Games? What changes do you think need to be made? And what do you think needs to be left alone when it comes to Bully? And would you like to see a sequel or prequel to the original game? Your thoughts, your views, and opinions regarding a potential Bully remake or remaster, as always, welcome below in the comments section.